Hey everyone, we're back with the Great Ace Attorney. Last time we interrogated the Beats, and we finally got Garadeb on the stand. I assume this has to be the finale of Case 4. Like, it can't be more than an hour long now, right? Right? Witness, state your name and occupation.
Yes, my name is John Garadeb. And I'm, well, I'm a juror and such like.
Although, I mean, there still are things that seem unaddressed, like, for example, olive green question mark question, like, what if it's not actually olive green, right? I wanted there to be something going on there. Sounds like she doesn't even know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore. Court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. You understand, madam?
Yes, my lord.
You tell the court everything that took place in your household in the evening in question. I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, dearie me.
Oh, is this harassment? Chin up, Johnny! Nothing to worry about. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know you were here, John.
Oh, the burn's gone. Was it only you in that room that day, old thing, was it? I think I ought to testify as well, don't you?
But what about your knee, dear?
Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. Not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone.
Oh, John.
Presume you're Mr. John Garadeb. Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. Did my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were.
The quiet life?
Were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse in the day in question? You know, nor the quiet life.
Oh, well, yes,
quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, that of your husband. He's just allowed to walk up into the stand and say, hey, I'll testify too? they're letting that happen? You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. Having him look directly at the camera is scary. Please stop. Look to the side again. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Got the candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though, got the window open.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Plenty of knives around our place, yes, keep doing that. Can't say I'd noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. That ball thing in the victim's back really was one of ours. We'll have a job proving it, I think. Probably the little chip off it is going to be relevant. It says as though quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on our hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute. Could have been toast. Of course, better insist myself. It's only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker away from death at any moment. Yeah, that's poetic. We're still talking about a marital quarrel here? I mean, I wouldn't call throwing blaming books and knives a quarrel. Well, but say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. Combat one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end. Anzies may well be right.
Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination. I know how we do this. We gotta get Sholmes up on the stand so we can pose together. It's the only way we can beat them. Battle of Garadeb. Knock the candlestick over, fire, and then out there and get the window open. Picking whatever I can find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. And okay. What do you care to elaborate? Nothing to say, really? Are they partial to the spot of carving, you see? Pipes and whatnot, fishing tackle, you know, that the sort of thing.
The passion we both share, like to carve little wooden trinkets too. And there's my leather work.
Sorry to say, we're always losing knives about the place. I have dozens of things.
Sell them at the market sometimes, 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, snap them up. John prefers to use 2 knives at meals sometimes, instead of a knife and fork.
What? now, Joan. I want people thinking of something. Ah! Is that into his pipe? Here we go again to the scoldings. Why are they being so evasive?
Imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. Can't bear the thought. Might have been one of their knives that injured the victim.
It was entirely understandable, of course, but still. Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir!
I still don't get how a knife makes you comatose for
3 days now? That bally thing in the victim's bath really was one of ours. We'll have a job proving it, I think.
Hold it!
You have no intention of admitting it was your knife. Yeah, sweat. Even though there's no other credible even if there is no other credible possibility Mr. Natsume is innocent.
Objection.
You forget, my Nipponiese friend. It has yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack. If I can forget. Only there's some way to know who could handle the knife. Those wizardry like that is just a dream.
After thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo.
I mean, it's not a dream, we can do that!
When people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern for their skin.
Did they fingerprint back then? Like... Oh, yeah, okay, I was thinking of like... Okay, yeah, I guess. Can't see anything. There are already countries where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice. You're rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation.
But for now, you have to find a different method.
The knife was originally found on the victim's back from their house. If only it could... yeah. If only. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What do you think? We've heard all this before. It's absolutely essential. We established how the knife came to be at the scene of the crime. Maybe we should examine it again, just in case.
Here, both of them must be feeling worried. Worried that it was in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury.
And even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory? Clinch this trial for us. It'll explain everything.
Yes, it would.
Let's find that last crucial piece of evidence. Okay, I'm gonna look at the knife and then just press everything. Because usually it's pressing the one statement, you know, that looks irrelevant, and then actually that one, you know, answers everything. What's the little... Oh, okay, we can't do that. Only the tip. There's no like mark. Yeah. Just look at that again. Maybe this time it does something different. What could have happened to it? Still be lodged in the victim? No. Hey, any of you have like a cut anywhere? I don't know how that would work, but
Hold it!
the reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. That's right.
If I remember correctly, it was because of a note that was typed in the page of a book.
A very passionate note, in fact. You have a mighty number of slaps. What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. Hey, say! The chap says he can't recall such things. It's common decency not to drag it all up. Half of it was wide of the mark anyway. Half of it? Unlikely story. These waters run very deep. The transpired next after the multiple blows to the face. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet.
Hold it!
Fire also sweated some items of furniture, didn't it? Okay, it's my armchair. Anything in mind, really. That was there some bath water around that evening, so I slushed that about to put it out. It's a precarious situation you put yourselves in. I'm recording, right? Okay, all good. There's a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street. The water main isn't connected yet. Oh yeah, I was just thinking, like, did they have plumbing back then? They did, but not everywhere. Gotcha. You have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see?
Lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although, little mustache Japanese man buys water bottles, I believe.
Right at Mr. Natsume, you mean?
He's a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
Have you actually seen the state of the man? Yeah.
Maybe he uses all of his income to buy books.
Anyway, the point is that we'll douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
Just picking up whatever I can find to throw at him.
Hold it!
Even though the room was on fire? As far as I was concerned, more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. Woman wants to throw, she must throw.
Well, certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruto. I forgot about the Susato takedown.
How did she know I was thinking that?
Please cast your mind back and try to remember. The knife among the items you threw at your husband.
I don't recall. Really must point out, I'm no monster. Let me see, some bread, a cabbage, or garlic.
Oh, a napkin? Pursue! The knife was in the cabbage. You have something to add, sir? It's a very nice pipe. Mr. Garadeb. Don't shoot! Oh, sorry, beg your pardon.
Your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction. Somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, fire poker, I seem to recall. Ouch. The woman's aim is uncanny. Not a direct hit with every body. Good grief, woman. Not at home now. It's a court of law.
Oh, dearie me. I'm ever so sorry, dear. But is that what all like the old British people, like the old shows, are smoking? It's not like tobacco, it's it's tea. That makes a lot of sense. What's she even doing with a teapot in here? Honestly, John, never have done such a thing at you, obviously.
I like how I never even questioned that she had a teapot with tea in it. Like, I was just like, yeah, Ace Attorney, that makes sense. I would look at this then. What do you suppose that happened, Your pipe, sir? I have this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did. Yes. Is the tip of the edge of the knife in there? I wanted to pick this thing up, it was broken in two. Say sponge do that sort of damage. Your pipe was broken? Never meant some flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I should bandage the thing up for now.
You are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
Wondering what we should make of this again. It could be important, yeah. Has anyone ever clicked the "It's insignificant" button in Ace Attorney? Ever? The defense believes Mr. Garadev's remarks just now to be of great significance. This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Try a fiery wife and pipes. Will's hearts may be broken. What? Sentimental wisdom, perhaps? Hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one?
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me, there you go again. Trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
Very well, court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. Okay, and you're gonna find...
I'll let him speak out of turn. Feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Susato, we have some new evidence to work with. Thank you for that rebuttal. Can you tell about the court about the knife used in the attack? Examine. Oh well, look at that! What are the odds? That's convenient.
Well, you're strangled inside the chamber. Been stuck in there, I think. Come over and give it a shake.
What's this?
Tiny fragment of metal. The tip of a blade or something.
Surely it couldn't be. Okay, that's its own piece of evidence. I think it's on this one. Plenty of knives around our place. Can say a notice of... I think this line.
Mr. Gyarados, can I ask you to take a good look at this, please? You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing. You can't? Used to call me Dead-Eyed Deb back in the regiment, of course. Some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. Struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest. Oh, he does. Do you hear me? I'm rather wary. Oh, it's rather wearing, being asked about every other letter and every other word. You must be very dizzy. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. What may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? You literally just saw me get it out of the pipe. It's lodged in the chamber in Mr. Gyarados' pipe. Wait, pipe, you say? Joe, I wondered how that got there. What precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road? Oh, slap time! Here we go! I am! What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of the case, my lord. Appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence? When paired with this fragment of metal, jackknife.
Take that!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. Look closely, you'll see that there's a small piece of the tip of the knife that is missing. A common issue with the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in the victim's bones. What of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection!
No! That's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Gyarados' pipe. Good grief! Lord Ranzig, someone just shot him! I don't believe it! He's clutching at the bullet in his shoulder. That hurts! The knife from the crime scene of this fragment of metal are a perfect match! Good golly gosh! Order! 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 Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? Yep, you caught me. He's doing the Chudy pose. This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle. A miracle? The Van Zeeks has figured it out, has he? Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once. Yes, my lord. Crucial point we have to ask ourselves here. So when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Gyarados' pipe? Something that was clarified for us. The most recent witness testimony. Yeah, we all remember. Oh, dear me. During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Gyarados flung this knife at her husband. Oh, I like how they added it there. However, the knife missed Mr. Gyarados, striking the pipe in his hand at the time. Caused the tip to break off, of course. Good lord! Yes, that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Gyarados' pipe. The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1. Yet there's no other credible explanation for how would she end up flinging it though? Is that not a little weird? Like, now that we've had like Van Zeeks call it a miracle, he said it's 1,000,000 to 1. Now I'm a little sus about this. There's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Gyarados house, the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh, oh dear, oh no! I didn't even notice she has a box to stand on. Yeah, wine time? Don't throw it away. Don't shatter it either. A full-bodied theory. I'll give you that. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Almost passable. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nippon-ese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. As you see... Oh no, not the leg! It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. Insurmountable? What? Don't come on, at least hear about first. Lord Man6, explain yourself. Sorry. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. She was bending over to pick up the book. Next question. And maybe she even hit her head on the pavement, which is why she's still knocked out. It's in her... Ah. Come on, that's unnecessary. That's right, you silly little man. That disappeared quick. Ouch, old thing. What are you getting so excited about? Let's consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, there's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. Yeah! Order! Order! Quite right, you see? That's exactly right. The knife had fallen on her from above. It struck her on the top of her head. Well, lost for words, look! I knew it. Never liked his theory in the... Oh, come on! I don't know what really did happen. It appears the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder. Here is even one inconsistency. Cannot stand. Your theory, my learned friend, is history! Dot dot dot. We're so close. Could see the truth. So sure we're on the right track. But now the way has been blocked completely. With just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency. The theory will stand. Mr. Zato, do you have a book that says anything about this? You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You're just caught off guard, that's all. Your mind went blank. The path you're on is indeed correct. Then a way will present itself. Key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the yeah. Seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Your silence speaks volumes. Tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed. I assume it's the picture of her holding the book. This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test! Yes! If the knife fell on the victim from above, no way that it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Counsel? There's a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. It can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer. Goodness! Utter madness. Truly, this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak. This is the last inconsistency, the final piece in the puzzle. Make sense of this? The truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... Okay, it's this one because this got updated when we were right at the end of, like, talking to the beats.
Take that!
I wonder if it accepts the photo with her hand. The fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burnt book? Is that not Mr. Garridub's book?
Yes, understanding its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. Its photographic print clearly shows the book in question, with the victim holding it in her hand. As we all now know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. No, he found it like that, you dummy. Were you even paying attention? Quite so. Part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. Yes. So that's because that's how I found it. It was already holding the book. Sure, it's still in her hand. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. Clearly, must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Well, I should say so. Being attacked with a knife, don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything. Question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? By Jingo! That's I believe that's a book by Terry Pratchett. I think I'm beginning to see what happened now. Oh, dearie me. We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garrett household onto the pavement below. Precisely the moment the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment, the young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. The book I threw? Yes, Mrs. Garrett. What do you think the woman did? What would you do if you're walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? Well, I can't imagine it, but suppose she might have reached down, picked the book up. Yes! That's exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book. Oh, heavens! When the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, the next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. At the same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Well, I never! Here to Mr. Natsume. So are we just gonna ignore the whole juror number 6 thing? Because there's that, which we prove probably happened. And then, so she threw the knife at him, right? It hit the pipe, this landed in there, right? If that happened, he would have had the knife. He would have had it, right? And he probably would have set it down, you know, away from her. It's like she's throwing stuff, so she's not like right in his face, probably. She's, you know, at least a few feet away. So how would she get the knife again? They're having like a Zelda Ganondorf tennis match. He's throwing stuff back at her, she throws it back, you know, but I'm not completely satisfied with this. Like, is this gonna be, we bring this back up in case 5? Because I mean, we're already gonna do that with case 3 and case 1 with Giselle Brent, and then, you know, obviously Kazuma is alive, so we're gonna bring case 2 back up. Is this all connected? Prior to Mr. Natsume, the woman simply collapsed on the floor. There's also the fact that we don't know her identity for certain. That is sus, as the kids say. The dark in the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. From the other direction, Constable and his wife. And like, how would the tip of the knife land in the pipe, right? Because it hit the side of it. It's like it hit right there. It didn't hit, well, like if it hit, you know, in here, would it shatter right there? Well, I mean, I guess it could, like if it landed in there and like he was holding onto the edge of it and then like, you know, I guess it's possible, but how did it go out the window then? Constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. There never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb? The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. Wondered if perchance it might have been something like that. There, old bean. Poor Mrs. Garrideb. Or maybe you shouldn't throw weapons at your husband? Because I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? Take full responsibility. Let my anger get the better of me. Threw that book. I threw the knife as well. John, dear. It's alright. I know. I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry. Oh, she's dead. Oh, he got her. Oh no, his knees. His knees. And his trench coat thing. Wait, was that? Wait, that didn't have. Was it burnt? And it's been like that the whole time? I mean, we would have seen it before, right? Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Mrs. Garrideb? Been taken to the infirmary. Hear that today's events have left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she'll recover in due course. No cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, because what could have easily been a terrible tragedy. They'll have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. There's some good news, however, my lord. I've just had word from the hospital where the victim is being— that is awfully convenient timing. The victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily. The doctor believes she'll regain consciousness soon. Strange, we've been talking about the victim all this time. We never once met her. Thank you! Oh, wonderful. Woman is out of danger, it seems. That is good news. So, Mr. Soseki Natsume? Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I'd like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir, as we say in British. Came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture. And when we paid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. Only if he gets fireworks and confetti. No, it's me who should be begging your pardon. Oh, no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes. I jumped to the wrong conclusion again, in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead. His Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she'd been killed too. I mean, in the picture, there's no blood. Do you think they swapped the bodies out? There's something more to this case. Well, she must have looked completely lifeless. I don't think there's a day 2, so is case 5 gonna wrap all of this up? Been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now. Still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. There are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're hunting me. Poor Soseki-san. Imagination really has got the better of him. This poor man. When it happened, that the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. Should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I should create a rift in the relationship of the trust between our two empires. And for that, I'm truly sorry. Oh, they got the husband to sit for juror number 4. We're gonna need to say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. Well, maybe a literal person like a Giselle Brent? Well, I don't know if I'd be satisfied if she was behind everything, but I definitely wanted to come back, right? We were fooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. Thanks to Lord Van Zeke, that is definitely foreshadowing. Thanks to Lord Van Zeke and our young lawyer here from the east, the chain has now been broken, spirit exorcised. Hardly commend you both. Oh. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. Concluding this trial, must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As foreman of the jury, I'm sure you have reached a fair and just conclusion. Do you declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times? Oh. And suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure. But I feel like letting the husband of a jury member step in is a bit, unconventional. Sitting in for the old bean while she's out of action, you know? Know what her decision will be. Doesn't mean I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work. About time. I say I'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Wait, that was his voice?
Not guilty.
Come on, give me fireworks. I forget, did the third case have fireworks? Very well. Mr. Soseki Natsume, hereby pronounce you not guilty. Ooh. Okay, we get confetti. Oh, and fire, let's go. The whole courtroom just burnt down, but it was worth it. Finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, sir, Lord, sir. You're now a free man once more. My hope that you'll continue to further your education in British culture. May you never again be brought before me. Oh, yes, sir, of course. On my life, I swear I'll never step foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears. TTT. My favorite Gary's mod game mode. Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. I have hundreds of hours in TTT. I played so much of that game back in like 2013. 20th of February, 3:17 p.m. Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Oh, locum. Wait, you mean me? Of course! Is there another locum here? Is there even one? I forget what locum means. Just go with it. Where did the original locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire? Your name's become rather short, hasn't it? Wrong with using my actual name. Oh, last, I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation! JJJJ. Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah! The HHHH. I believe that's a wrestler. Quadruple H? Oh, I'm pleased. Mr. Natsume's delighted. Also the singers of the Penguin Drum soundtrack. It'd be so hard just to say that then. Locum, you did it! Save me from the brink! What happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. Just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that! Lovely, loyal, locum lawyer! The LLL, I don't have anything for that one. Yes? I mean, as I said before, I have a guy used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners, see towering brick buildings. From high up windows, see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback. Oh dear. It's all in your head, Mr. Natsume. But today, you locum lawyer, came my gloom the boot. You stood firm beneath that barren old bench where all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. When I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!" It's very flattering. We're very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? That wants to become of all my hard work? There you are, my dear fellows. Sholmes? Sholmes! Yes! I apologize for keeping you waiting. It was late this morning. Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you. Damn, here not a moment too soon. Disaster's been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh, what, he figured it all out? The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo. Wish you the very best of luck. It just finished. What? No! My haste was in vain? It's you! Sherlock Sholmes. Oh? Have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you arrested, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, I see. But I recognize you at first. Previous encounters have taken place in the gloom. Either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming. This is all your fault, Sherlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind. Careful, he knows Baritsu. My apologies, sir, but I show you. I've placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Oh, he's got him there. Oh. Had you been taken to the hospital more urgently? Well, perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh. It was unavoidable, I'm sure. We're but human, after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. You feel very badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind. Now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Guilt tripped. Phrases. Oh, I'm sorry. Really? What? That's quite priceless. We're so sucky-san. Still, on the bright side, it's an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And, it would seem, you're not even found guilty. And there's no bright side. Maybe they'll give you like a discount on your rent or something. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper. Oh yeah, there's that. Lord Van Zeeks. Haven't forgotten, you know? Facing that man in court means, even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed. It'll be alright, Mr. Natsume. The Reaper appears trying to make trouble. I'll protect you. Yeah! Why me? Why me? What did I do? The perfectly executed Susato takedown. Much as I like being turned on my head, but a warning might be nice next time with Susato. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? Mention something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Yes, and to return to my homeland soon. Oh. It's already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited university. Oh, so you just moved there recently. They've mentioned that before, but I skipped my mind. The university's libraries, bookshops, in honor of the tutelage of professors. So much about the wealth of literature here, the city it has shaped. Then I realized that it's my calling to sail home, tell my fellow countrymen about it. Very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world, or escape the terror of the Reaper's curse. That's not it at all! That's it. The more I learn of literature, the more the strange feeling claws in my insides. Feel compelled to return to my roots, attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. Work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interest. No, I doubt it. It'd probably suck. It wouldn't be like a, you know, a national classic or anything that even people around the world know the name of. What about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? What about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustache compatriot? I've been here for 3 days, dude. Compatriot? Why would we? A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. Oh, this one sounds very familiar to like a Ace Attorney song when you finish your trial. Not only does it feel as though we finally found our feet. And we're accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right. We need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. Calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Well then, you can take my lodgings. For that gloomy, windowless room? Yeah. What it lacks in windows, more than makes up for it with a floor, a ceiling, and walls. Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit. Oh boy, in that case, maybe it's a cute girl ghost. Evil spirit? Oh yes, tries to suffocate you while you sleep. An invaluable wake-up call. I'll think about it if that's alright. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me? On Baker Street? Oh boy. Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. It's up in the attic, I might add. Sure, it's just a storage. It isn't just a storage loft. Spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price. Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. Just come at once. Presume we have no luggage to speak of. Oh, this is like we have luggage. This is simply wonderful. What an honor. We invited you to take lodgings in the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words. We have luggage, right? So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. And it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes. Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shouldn't take long. Somebody's happy. Better not end up dead after all that work. Welcome. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. Truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume. And a privilege meeting you too. Shame that we're gonna have to say goodbye so soon. Well, good to realize that I belong in Japan. But welcome. We'll meet again one day. Yes, I'm sure. The future case where we probably return to Japan. Not this game, but probably next game. Hopefully by then I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then I'll be a successful author. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Don't get in! So Seki, don't get in the carriage, it's gonna go on fire! Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Mr. Sholmes. I have little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Suzuki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. Do people say 221B or 221B? 4:41 p.m. The attic room. So this to be our new office, yes. Our office? I really like the sound of that. Me too. Simply wonderful, isn't it? Hope you can see this, Kazuma. Oh yeah, he's peering through the window, of course again. It's only a small step. I'd like to think we're getting closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like this place? What the heck? He's hot? Oh, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, thank you so much. The delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. Simply adore it. Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. Hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. Alright then, Susie, get me in charge of the salad. Splendid! So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? Very exciting, actually. Can't help wondering what adventures await us. Oh, I hate to break it to you, you're already 4/5 of the way done with your adventures. Ha 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 ha! Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Till I discovered the dark truth about the city of London. That is... Sorry? London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. Where the brightest of lights? That's the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So once again, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London. And oh, of course, at the time, no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. Wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade, see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. Sholmes getting serious scares me. Especially without his goofy hat on. And yeah, okay. Woo! That needs a good stretch. That was a case. Like, I don't think I need to say it. That case was long. Like, I said this about case 1 and 2, right? But this, it applies to this one especially. It did not need to be that long. Like, The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story is the next one. But like, I feel like they could have cut a lot of it. Like the Irish section, I mean, really, I guess that was just kind of long for me since I had to voice all of it, right? But I feel like that could have been trimmed down a lot, or even entirely, right? Like they could have just moved us meeting her to the end there. But I guess there's some important stuff in there, right? Like explaining, you know, why is Watson a 10-year-old girl, right? But then with the trial, basically everything from the second summation examination to calling, you know, the Gyarados onto the scene could have been like that video was like 90 minutes long, right? That could have been a lot shorter. Although I mean, I guess part of it is me pressing stuff that didn't need to be pressed, but still that's, I mean, that's part of the gameplay, right? You're not always going to press the optimal things, but it was still a good case. But anyway, we're on to 1.5 now. Like that case was worse than 1.3, but as far as throwaway cases in Ace Attorney goes, it was pretty good. And I did like how, I've talked about this before, you know, they're building up Naruhodo as like an actual character. They're putting him through an arc, right? You know, compared to like Phoenix, who never has one. Like Apollo has one, kinda, but it gets retconned every game, right? Anyway, 1.5. Every case has had stuff in it that feels like, oh, that's kind of weird. That not all of it makes sense. You know, case 1, Giselle Brand just gets away scot-free. She's showing back up this case 100%. Case 2, well, so Kazuma's dead. He could have died. I do not believe he's dead, but he could have died. But the cat went missing. Where did the cat go? What happened to the cat? That is pressing information, right? Case 3, obviously the whole thing with McGilded. I think that is going to be very, very relevant in case 5, like especially with Mason. I expect him to be a relevant character going into this. Same with obviously Lestrade. She's going to show up back up here, obviously. Then case 4, the whole thing with Olive Green is weird. I do think the thing with the knife is also a little weird. Like, remember, Van6 even called it a miracle. That's strong wordage, right? That ending did feel a little too convenient. And plus, I think the whole point of that was trying to frame Natsume, because they knew he was about to return to Japan. They're trying to get rid of him. Who's they? I don't know. Are they on the Japanese side or the British side? Or maybe both. Right? They are. One thing that springs to mind, right, is when the Meiji Restoration happened, there were a lot of people who were against it. Was it the Seki Sugumi? Is that? Do I have my history right? That I might know this from Fate Grand Order. So obviously this is like 40 years prior, right? But that's not too long. There could very well be people in Japan who are against, you know, the modernization. Okay, Seki Segumi are Final Fantasy 14. I look, it's group against. Wait, okay, hold on. Okita Soji. Wait, Wikipedia says they aren't a cute anime girl? What? No, that must be wrong. The Shinsegumi. Right? And I believe, or was it the people against them who were against the Meiji Restoration? Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, the Shinsegumi resisted the Meiji Restoration. So maybe I'm thinking, you know, it has to do something with that. And, you know, the resistance for Japan modernizing. Or on the other hand, you know, it could be British people who are against, you know, Japan gaining power, you know, and because, you know, I don't know what the politics angle's going with this, but I'm convinced it's something like that. And Giselle Brandt and maybe Olive Green are connected to that, because I think they mentioned it twice, right? With Broly and Natsume, that they thought the person was dead, like for sure. I think that person was dead, and they swapped the body out at some point. So, like, there's two Olive Greens: the one who woke up, who's the plant, and the one who died because they assassinated her or something. I think they framed Natsume because they also wanted her dead for some reason. I don't know. Look, I hit my microphone. I am convinced I am right about 70% of this. 30%, you know, give or take. 70%, I'm right. We'll see with 1.5, which is probably going to be a long case. Like, it's got to be a 2-dayer, right? Because all the cases so far have been 1 day. We got to have at least 1 2-day in there, right? Because 2 days means we have more time with Sholmes, because he doesn't seem to be appearing in the trial segments. Anyways, see you guys then with the start of the finale. Bye.